warming up. Let's see. I believe that we're feeding out to the folks out there. Let us know how the sound and everything's coming through. Our sound should be. Let me know if it's the sound's coming in 5x5 or whatever they say on those guys in the trucks rolling down the road and the CB radios. I'm not sure exactly what they say. Okay, let me start this off right here as we usually do, reminding you guys to go to hankstrange.com, sign up for our email list over there. Lots of good things to share with you guys. Also, check out US Law Shield. We have a promo code. It's called Hank. That gets you 2 free months for annual plus the locked-in rate of $10.95 a month at US Law Shield. So, you get a good deal. We get a couple of shekels coming in our direction. We're members of US Law Shield. So check that out. I've got a link in the chat here as well as you could get one on hankstrange.com. Big shout out to TUSC Firearms Crypto for sponsoring the show. This is a big show, so I'm gonna save all the other stuff in here and just load everyone up on the screen, and we're gonna jump in and do the opening right now.
Welcome back to the Hank.
All right, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash the thumbs ups, ring the bell, Walter, ring the bell. Someone ring. There we go. Boom. Bells are ringing. we are live. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on. Today, this is episode 818 of the Who Moved Our Freedom podcast. This is the only one this week, so we wanted to make it something very special. We're doing a Dagger follow-up. All of your questions are going to be answered. We've got the dudes, some of the dudes from PSA over here on FreeForAll Monday. They're going to be hanging out with us. We have Chad. Let me see. I'm going to go to Chad so you guys can see. There's Chad. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good.
Glad to see everybody.
Yeah, tell the folks out there what you do at PSA.
I'm the CEO of Common State Armory.
Okay, boom. There you go. Big shot. We've got the big shot here in the house. We also have Steven. What do you do at PSA, Steven?
You could have started with me first. That way the big drop was after. So I'm the operations manager and over the Dagger program are all future pistol programs and dealing with R&D from concept to completion.
Awesome. There you go. So we've got 2 bigwigs here from PSA joining us. As well, speaking of bigwigs, we've got we've got Babyface P also joining us of Babyface P Incorporated, and we've got Walter Keller of Safety Harbor Firearms also joining us. Walter, Babyface, how are you guys?
Good. I'm here.
Good. Okay. So, they're here. Okay, well, there you go. Don't forget to hit those thumbs ups, guys, and share this if you can. We're going to take questions here. So these guys are going to take questions. We're doing this for 2 hours. You know that, Chad. I know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We got a CEO here.
2 hours?
Yeah, 2 hours. So
I gotta call my CEO real quick.
Yeah, get yourself a bottle under the table if you need it. We're going to take all questions from folks out there. You guys can share this. Hit the thumbs ups as everyone's coming in here. I know we still have people coming in. So where should I start with this? And Patrick and Babyface, feel free to jump in at any time. I just want to share something.
And Babyface?
Yeah, Babyface and Walter. Babyface and Walter, sorry. My bad. Doing a bunch of stuff. So on Hank Strange, YouTube/Hank Strange, we have this video up. It's PSA Dagger 9mm, 5,000 plus rounds. I think we got it in. Where did we get that? Where did we get that thing? We got it at a couple of thousand. Maybe was it 3,000 rounds or something like that? And
I think it was 3. Yeah. I think it was 3,200.
Yes, we have.
Something like that.
How long is this video? This video is 1 hour and 20 minutes that we have on YouTube. Very detailed, every single shot. You guys need to check this out. And the whole thing that's happening here, I'll skip forward a little bit so you all could see this. We can't, YouTube is watching us when we're live, so we can't show handguns and rifles and things like that, except if we're looking at it on video. So we have pictures and things. I'll share stuff from the website and all that from PSA as we go in here. But we put every round through it. Other guys had it before us. Oh, there's a train passing. Don't pay attention. Pay no attention to the train that's going by right now. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. It's like a big, massive train that sounds like going by. It's celebrating the Dagger. So we've been doing,
yeah.
we've been taking a look at this dagger from, when did you guys announce it at SHOT Show?
2 years ago is the last SHOT Show. So what was that? 2019?
19?
18.
Yeah, I think so.
No, wait, hold on. Yeah.
No,
It's
it was
19, right?
2020.
No, it was 2020 was the last one.
Yeah,
January
2021 was the
2020.
one that was skipped.
Yeah,
When we did
This year was the
2019.
first one.
Yeah.
yeah. So, wait, it was 2019 or 2020?
I think it was 2019.
2020.
It's been a year since we came out with it. If you remember, it took us 7 months to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it was all crazy. I think you guys announced 1,500 new items at that SHOT Show.
13.
So, lots of cool stuff that I'm sure folks are going to ask us about. But we're going to talk about the Dagger because I had folks on the show here. We were talking about it. People said this is never coming out. It's a unicorn. It did come out. It's out there. You guys in regular production right now?
Yes.
Okay. Do we know how many of them are getting produced, or
As many parts as we can get a day, and it's all going out.
yeah?
Are you guys making everything in house now for the whole pistol?
Good question.
No, we're not making everything in house.
Okay.
So
it wouldn't be viable for us to do something like that. I mean, you have to use other people who's accustomed to making parts for these type of things. So we do the prints, we got the drawings, we let them do it, and then we source those. The majority of it is pretty much outsourced, with the exceptions like the barrels, because we have a barrel manufacturing facility that could do that.
Oh,
But
interesting. I thought the barrel would have been the one thing that you would have outsourced. I didn't realize you guys were making them. That's cool.
We make a lot of barrels. If there's one thing that we're good at doing right now is making barrels. We're not good at stamping steel parts.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
So barrels. That's a good thing.
So most of your major manufacturers are not going to have every part in-house. Especially when it comes to plastic molding and stuff like that. Your frames are mostly done at a few big plastic manufacturers that injection mold stuff. So
Interesting.
no need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
you kind of
you
let industry expertise handle that stuff for you.
Yeah. By the way, before I forget this, big shout out to Josiah at PSA that helped arrange all of this, along with Lola. Appreciate Lola and Josiah for helping us out here. I don't know if he's out there watching us or listening. And we'll get to all the questions that you guys have. I'm already seeing people like Brian Quick says PSA prices don't matter. Nothing is in stock. Is that true, Chad? Because I know it's not true, but you're the CEO.
So our products are selling so quickly. I mean, if think of it this way, we wouldn't be having this podcast right now if we didn't exist, because we never had anything in stock. I get people's frustrations. There's no doubt about it. But there's certain things, like we're coming off of one of the worst, it's probably the worst hangovers that we've ever had in the industry with the COVID and all the free money that was handed out and everything. So we prospered. And while we prospered, our customers suffered because we couldn't get everything in stock in an adequate amount of time. We could have sold everything we could have made, and we wanted to sell everything we could make. We wanted to be able to make and get more, but every machine, every group, every manufacturer that we use, everybody was completely 100% fully staffed up and being utilized. And then near the mid to end of the COVID pandemic, the staffing become a problem. So we had all the machines, we had all the materials, we had everything on process to go forward, and people started going out with COVID. It caused a backflush. And that's not us using an excuse. I mean, at one point we had almost 50 people out with different illnesses during that period of time.
Wow.
Whether they were just at home with their family, or they had been exposed, or they had it, or anything. We've had a lot of different struggles during the pandemic. So we do have, it's starting to become more in stock. We're seeing a little bit of a cool off period. I think The industry's had a little bit of a hangover with the COVID situation, and now the customers are starting to have a little bit of a hangover. School's back in. We're going into the summer slump. What we were, our plan was to be in full production on things like the Dagger and, of course, the Jackal during the summer slowdown months, so we'd have new products to entice people to buy. Unfortunately, the Jackal's not a thing. Steven's doing a heck of a job getting the Dagger out there. If you join the PSA handgun group, you'll see more and more every day dropping, more and more people getting them in stock. But we just don't have unlimited capacity to run thousands and thousands and thousands of SKUs and products. We just have to pick and choose based on what materials we have at that point in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let me get, so here's a counterpoint to that from Gorillas and Guns. He says, I've been getting a lot of stuff from PSA here lately, super fast shipping. I think over the last couple of days you guys have free shipping on stuff. I know there's always this question about availability, so I'll just spend a couple of minutes on it. You know, I think that always happens, right? Especially with the cool things you guys are making. In the beginning, when you're making something cool, you don't make like 1 million of them and then sit around and wait for everyone to buy them. It starts at limited capacity, right? How does that work?
Well, we're still we're becoming a major player. We are a major player at this point, I think, but we're still kind of a smaller company. So we can't produce 15,000 guns and wait on some predetermined drop date to ship them all out so everybody's got them. We consider ourselves a hand-to-mouth company. So as we get parts in, we build guns to order and ship them out. And that's a strategy from our standpoint to keep us healthy, because some of these companies in the past that had great success during different parts of the career profile of that company, they'd put 15,000, 20,000 guns in stock. And think if we had that, what if we had 30,000 AR-15 sitting in the back warehouse consuming up space and causing overhead when the summer slump or something happens? We don't operate that way. We build to order. A lot of times the product that you get was built the day before it ships. And that's just been our strategy. It's been our strategy to be able to be nimble and see. Jamin has got an algorithm in his head that's unparalleled to anybody I've ever seen in this industry. He'll watch sales data and he'll change daily what he's building. If pistols are hot, we're building pistols today. If rifles are hot, we're going to build rifles today. Ammo's the thing. We're going to focus on getting more ammo to the back. So it's just the way we operate. And I know it's very frustrating to consumers because it's different. SIG and different companies like that, they'll build thousands and thousands of product and keep it in the warehouse before launch so everybody can get it. I think what we do works for us. It's a little bit different. It's like I say, it can be frustrating, but you look at the hype that goes along with what we're doing. I kind of took that market from the manufacturing standpoint and did some of the social media with it. Mm-hmm. We give daily drop reminders, and we tell people we have play little games and things. I mean, we try to make it fun, even though it can be aggravating, just the way we do business. But believe me, if I can get a 10,000 every product in stock so everybody can get it and be happy, I'd do it tomorrow. It's just, that's not the times we live in right now. And I think as we mature, some of that may change. But for the short term, when we have a new product dropped, when we get the parts, we're going to build them and ship them.
Yeah. I don't know if people know this, but in my time from looking at the industry, when you look at the distribution model, what I don't like about it is that when cool guns come out, distributors hoard them. No one can get their hands on them.
Yep. And see, we don't, this aggravates dealers too, and nobody's even brought this up, but we sometimes hold dealers from getting the new products because we want the consumers to have them. So we'll throttle dealers on certain things like the new AKs or the Daggers or whatnot. It frustrates them too, but we would like for the consumer to have as many opportunities to get the product firsthand from us than going out on the black market and being put on Gunbroker and that kind of things. It still happens, but not as frequently as it would be. Yeah.
And if you pay attention, as these guys are saying, you can get your hands on stuff. So specifically with the Dagger, Walter, how did you get one? Did you have special circumstances that help you get your hand on one?
I had no help. It was a Friday. I was going up to your place on Saturday to shoot put 1,800 rounds through the gun. So I said, "It's for fun. Let me see if any pop up on Friday." So I started watching about 3 o'clock and refreshing and watching and refreshing and then a friend came over and I had to help him load up a truck, one of my military trucks, and I go back inside. It's about 4:20, apropos, about 4:20, and I hit the button and it says it only showed the colored ones out of stock, and I'm like, oh shit! So I hit. Well, I can tell you. I'll tell you about I'll tell you the story about when the Dagger first came out, and you'll laugh too. And I hit the button, and boom! I had one on my cart. I'd already turned off the screen blocker thing, the ad blocker, which is part of the other story. Mm-hmm. And I'm an FFL and everything, so boom, and boom, 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 and it was done. It was on order. Okay, yeah. And I have it right here. So yeah. When that very first came out, we were all waiting. I was gonna buy 2 of them if I could get my paws on it. Because Patrick's like, get one for me, get one for me. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
so
like,
yeah. And so
no one was thinking about Hank Strange, but go ahead, it's fine.
I came up, I put it in the cart, and my damn ad blocker was on, and it wouldn't let me finish the order. And then by that time it was gone. Boom, and I'm like, son of a.
Yeah.
And it wasn't PSA's fault per se. It was my damn computer's fault. So, I was ready the next time. But yeah. I just happened onto it on that Friday before we went to go shoot the gun. So
yeah. Can you guys tell us how many are getting made every day? Is this I mean, if there's inside stuff that we can't talk about, for sure, tell us. But is there an average number of how many of the Daggers in particular are getting made every day? I think someone asked that earlier.
It's not a set number.
Okay.
There are so many different things that we work through daily, but several hundred a day go out. And when we build them, they're gone daily. So sometimes there's a lap over from one day to the next. But whenever they go up, they sell out instantly. Here lately, it's finally been that little bit of a trickle. We're getting more in, so whenever we load them, we have more in stock. So it takes now, instead of 5 minutes or 28 seconds like the first day and crash the website,
that's right. Then it went boom.
A couple hundred. Yeah, we have a couple hundred that go out, and now it takes 5 minutes, 20 minutes. But we have so many different things coming out with the Dagger and what we want to do with it, that I think everybody's starting to see it on the website, that there are things that we're going to do that are going to enable you to build the gun that you want. Yeah, I mean, PSA did it with the AR-15. And why not do the same thing with a popular platform that there are tons of aftermarket stuff available for whatever you want to do, and you have that flexibility. So we can sell you a $300 firearm, or you can buy, you see the frame, you can buy the frame that is fan freaking tastic compared to anything else on the market, and then you can put your whatever barrel, whatever slide you've got, that you want, because the aftermarket's just there for it.
Yeah. So I think that's, I see that as questions. Gabriel Dominguez says ETA for optics ready PSA Dagger. And I would ask about the different versions. I think, go ahead.
That's on him.
Yeah. Oh.
I didn't even know that was, yeah. Is there like an RMR slide version coming out?
Yeah, they're supposed to be. Steven?
I am in testing right now. Yeah. Okay. So it's coming. Okay. The thing that we do here that, we're bringing in and making sure that we do everything right. There's a reason why there was a delay. We wanted to make sure the gun worked with every type of ammunition, what kind of recoil springs, if we put suppressors on a threaded barrel, if we put lights on the frame, we test thousands, 10s, 20, 30,000 rounds on these things to make sure that everything goes out right. So the same thing with an optics ready version. We're going to test all the different platforms that are cut for us, and we're going to ensure that they work.
Okay.
So it's not just get it and then sell it. You know, hey, let's get it cut. You know, these are our first ones off of production machines. Okay, now we have some, and we're testing, and then as soon as we get more ready and my tests are done, you know, it's on the market. And I was going to call you guys amateurs for saying that you shot, you know, 1,800 rounds through a gun. It's like I did 5,000 yesterday.
Oh, okay. Flexing on us. First of all, this is apocalypse. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't have 10,000 rounds sitting in my back pocket.
Yeah. You know how much money we spent on that day?
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. Trust me, Patrick was like, "Are you serious with this?"
Yeah, when he told me the number, I was like, I don't feel comfortable with this, but I'll do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
stop it! I'm not an ammo shy person. I do machine guns, so you know it's like we used to shoot a lot of ammo, like 9mm, grab by the handfuls and load the mag.
Back in the good old days.
That's yeah.
When we were ammo rich. Damn, remember those days?
Yeah.
Like a year ago.
No, when it was 135 1,000 shipped. Yeah,
Damn.
Those days will come back. It's
They
just going to
better.
take some time.
Yeah.
It'll just take some time.
Yeah. So different. Right now, there's a regular one, and then there's. I think we're getting some different colored, like slides, or the whole gun.
Yeah.
Are we getting the frames in different colors also?
Not yet,
Okay, not yet. Eventually.
but it's on the way.
Okay.
I'm telling you, whenever I say there's so many different things that we're doing with this gun, you will be able to fully customize your gun just like you would your Dagger, just like you would an AR-15. What
Right.
color do you want
At one
your
time,
frame
it was
to be? What
approaching
color
like
do you want your
600
slot to be?
SKUs.
Say that again, Chad.
At one time, it was approaching 600 SKUs of different
Oh,
parts and combinations
Holy
and colors.
crap.
And
that's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess who has to create the SKUs?
Yeah, I'm throwing up the website right now. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. You should be seeing it. So on here, you could get the complete guns. You can get Dagger parts, I think it says.
I got one
Yeah.
of those frames coming.
Right. So let me see. So what Dagger parts are out there right now? I see you can get an unthreaded barrel. Looks like.
And those
that's
are
all the parts. That's the replacement parts for the entire gun.
Oh, okay.
And those will work somewhat in another popular brand of firearm, I'm guessing, right?
Some,
Yeah.
some of them do.
There's complete frames. Who? One of us got a complete frame recently.
Walther has one coming.
Yeah, Walter has one coming. So there's complete frames that are out as well. Let me see. And then complete guns. What's the options here? Right now, those are all out of stock at this point. But you can do notify when in stock, right? And so there you go on that.
When I finally ordered mine that day, I sent a text to Patrick and Hank, and Patrick immediately got on, tried to get it, and they were out of stock already.
That was gone. Yeah, they were all gone.
Yeah. So we've got lots of different things that are going to be coming here with these guns in the future as time is going on here, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So everyone just needs to be some patience. There are things that are out there that you can get. Let's see, Fox Bodies for Life. Who's that? It says shout out to Chad and Steven. Those two are great. Just passed 2,200 rounds and everything is functioning flawlessly. This one.
Yeah, he was. So he was one of the initial adopters, and the elephant in the room would be the walk-in trigger pin issue that we've had with some of the models or some of the Daggers. He was one of the first ones that it happened to, and he was absolutely instrumental in helping us along the way. He was a great guy. We talked to him several times. He was very patient. He just wanted to help really for the greater good. But again, he worked with us every step of the way while we were going back and forth with him on getting that situation resolved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's see.
We heavily R&D'd his gun.
Oh, okay. So let's see what other questions. Lola says, if you guys have questions, throw them in the chat, and Patrick and Walter try to help me keep an eye on that, and we'll get to some of those. Lola says, folks are calling the Dagger the $300 Glock. She says cheapest Glock, etc. What was the initial idea behind the Dagger? and I'm sure some legal.
You mean the initial idea of what
Yeah.
Jamin's vision was?
Yeah, what was the
I mean,
vision
he
here?
was-
And who? And by the way, you got to explain to folks who Jamin is. For some people may not know.
So Jamin's the owner of JJE, which is the parent company of Palmetto State owner Armory. He moved up to the JJE cloud, and now he manages 6 or 7 companies, and then I moved into the Palmetto State Armory role. So Jamin's the primary owner for this large umbrella. But his vision was to have an inexpensive striker-fired pistol that everybody could afford, just like his vision was with the AR-15. He wanted to have a decent, really nice option out in the market that was within that $300 price range, so people of any financial status could get them. And it turned out, I mean, to be honest with you, my opinion when I first heard about it, I kind of just paused for a second because it's kind of been done before, right? The ones that have been done before are very, very, very expensive. I'm not a huge Glock guy to begin with. I wasn't a big fan of the platform. I carried one when I was in law enforcement, that kind of thing. But striker-fired pistols have their place, and I think once the initial design came out and you put it in your hand and you felt it, it was something that is not it's not common in the industry. I can go through every handgun as a competitive shooter. I've shot just about every handgun you could think of. And to be honest with you, the one that we came up with when it made has completely changed my opinion of polymer striker-fired pistols. And that's what he was hoping for. He was hoping to have the best polymer striker-fired pistol that you could get that was affordable for common ownership.
Was it part of the plan to make it compatible with, like, let's say Glock parts? I mean, let's just, I don't know whether that's like
taboo. It is.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Well, because there's people who like venture into this and they make everything proprietary.
So can I talk on that just a little bit? So coming from another manufacturer that builds mostly proprietary stuff for several years, there comes a point where everybody goes, well, do we need to make a proprietary site that now you have to go and buy this proprietary thing? Because guess what that leads to? Now I've got to work with all the aftermarket manufacturers to create a sight for us, a striker for us, a trigger for us. And it's like, well, that's more work on our part. If there's something that already exists and you can utilize it, do it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be better for your customer. Because your customer, I mean, and so we talk about Jamin and PSA all the time. Jamin's vision is, I want to distribute freedom to everybody. And if I can make that more affordable, what's the best way of doing that? And why not? That's just like thinking about a Mustang, right? It has the biggest aftermarket of any car on the road. Well, why wouldn't you want to create, if you were going to make another car and you can utilize parts for the aftermarket for a Mustang, why wouldn't you do it? Everything's there. It's already been done. Let's use that and go with it.
Yeah, if we say pistol caliber carbine, I mean, I'd be interested to know what Chad has obviously shot a lot of guns. I'd be interested to know what's his prime, what's the most awesome gun to Chad. But, you're talking about like a magazine that pistol caliber is the most available on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, why not go with that?
Right.
Yeah.
And it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, exactly. And we talked about this in our video on the show. I think other people talked about it in their videos. Just think about what's happening. So outside of having this complete package here, there's a massive demand for parts to the point that people are buying like decommissioned police guns, or not decommissioned, but old police guns and stuff like that, right, Patrick?
If anybody just looked at my Instagram in the last couple of days, I just bought a Gen 3 Glock 17 frame. I was expecting it to come in used, because that's what I've done before, is bought like used frames. This thing is brand new, which leads me to believe that the company that's buying these is buying brand new Glocks, stripping them down, selling the frames, and selling the parts separate because they're obviously making more money at it. So yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
With all the 3D printing going on, we were talking about, I think, with the 3D
People
printing, Polymer 80 guns that are out there, there's not enough parts for the guns, and people are, you can't build a complete gun for less than you can buy this gun for. I think Walt.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
We're selling a lot of the parts now. I mean, once we put the parts up last week, we started every day selling the small parts. People and people like me, I like to have extra parts in my range bag or whatever. We don't know what people are doing with them, but I assume that they're building some Polymer 80 kits with the parts, and they're also keeping parts handy in their bag. They're cheap enough, replacing a striker every 2,000 or 3,000 rounds, 4,000 rounds. If you can afford it, do it.
Yeah. Walter or Patrick, I'll give you guys a chance to jump in here if you've got questions from people out there or comments that you want to make.
It's just funny to me that the parts now for a Glock, sorry, Walter, the parts now for Glocks are worth more than the Glocks. That's crazy.
It's amusing. That's what I'll just say. I'll use that term. It's amusing. Yeah. Well, it's because people are building their own stuff. They want to make their own stuff. So,
which is amazing. It's America.
Well, it's not amazing. It's always been like that. People have always made their own stuff. Look at the AR-15. The AR-15 is your make it your own stuff gun. No two people like the same stuff on an AR-15. Everybody's got to have their little touch and their little this, their little that. You can't do that with an AK. I mean, I'm quite honest. You can do it a little bit, but you can't change the barrel in an afternoon. You can't do this. You can't. It's for the average person. It's not available. That's what makes it. So I noticed that the Dagger box, the hole in the Dagger box is a little longer than the barrel. So that means a full size gun is coming. Correct?
Yeah. Go ahead. Whoever's going to take this one.
You can wink or just shake your head.
No, tell us.
Hey, listen. Whenever I say there's going to be so many different things that happen with this gun, there are so many different things that are going to happen with this gun. So you can read into the box size all you want.
I'm smart. Why make one box when you can put two guns in one box or three guns in one box, right?
Or 4 or 5.
Right, or 6 or 7.
Eventually, I want to do a Leadstar, like a competition ready gun. That'll happen during the Swagger Dagger experiment.
Wow. So what price point can you guys tell us what price point you're thinking? Because if this is like a 3 to 350, imagine getting like what's the price point, guys, of one of those real sexy race Glocks out there? What are we looking at?
Very expensive.
Very expensive.
Like if you go to like an Agency Arms or something like that, you're paying $1,800 minimum.
Oh yeah,
and that's you supplying the gun.
Right. And see, when we first initially had the issues with the Dagger way back when, there's a guy out there I got to give a shout out to because he helped us tremendously. His name's John Nagel. And John was kind of a Team Glock mechanic back. He did a lot of work with, even when Savigny and those guys were racing actual Glocks for USPSA. He's a genius when it comes to striker fire pistols. He did a lot helping us. And his guns, when he was building them back 15 years ago, his was north of $2,000. I mean, some of them.
Wow. So
if you get a real worked over Glock, my first race Glock when I tried to get into open shooting was about $2,300 all in. Once you get to that level, there's some things that's got to change, parts and configurations, and whatnot. So that's why we would do it under a Leadstar name. We'd move it over into that brand of products because it is going to be a little bit more pricey. Like the Leadstar stuff, they'll have one person who assembles it start to finishes, and then the QC person that goes through it and double checks behind them. There's a lot of work and effort that goes into that stuff, and you do not want to have a pistol that doesn't run at a match. That's the absolute worst thing that'll ever happen. I've wanted to throw guns over berms before, just from getting so aggravated.
Do you get disqualified in a match if you throw your gun at the berm? I don't know.
I think so.
It's probably a disqualification.
It sounds a lot like golf. You ever seen a golfer get mad and break his clubs? They get in trouble for that too.
Oh, they do.
Any emotion.
Oh, you can't throw your clubs in golf. No.
Oh,
you must be very stoic.
Oh,
it's supposed to be professional.
I've seen magazines get thrown, but I've never seen anybody throw a gun.
Yeah, who's the John McEnroe of the 2-gun, 3-gun world? Let's find out.
I've seen some.
I threw one recently, I think.
Yeah, and if anyone's listening, so Leadstar, which Leadstar right now is making some high-end like race, I think, carbines and your like pistol caliber carbines and regular AR style guns, but lightweight, really great finishes and stuff like that, right? So so you're going to be doing other things through Leadstar. For example, you're talking about this race Glock.
Yeah, it's more like a race Dagger, but it's more like a.
I'm sorry, race. My bad. Shame on me. Shame on me. That slipped out.
Leadstar and the custom series is kind of like it's a custom shop. It's just like Smith and Wesson had their custom shop, and other companies have done that. It's very low quantity, high dollar amount products, but they work. I mean, you never see people complaining about any of the Leadstar guns, even the Grunt that came out, which is the mid to entry high tier AR-15 platform. Mm-hmm. We don't. There's little to no return rate at all, and when we do have it, it's small things that sometimes the users don't understand. There'll be a blemish. You spend that much for a gun, if there's a little blemish on it or whatever, they don't. They want to get it fixed or be touched up or whatever like that. But
someone breathed on my gun.
Oh
yeah,
I'm sending it back.
Yeah, well, that's the race shop. That's where we do a lot of development. We do a lot of testing. The guys, we've got a lot of people don't know this, but we've probably got 25 top competitive shooters that shoot between PSA and Leadstar right now, and they, including myself and Mike Sexton, who helps me on the Leadstar side. We get a lot of information back from these guys like, hey, you got to look at this, let's change that, let's move that. It's kind of like NASCAR where you learn on Sunday what goes into production on Monday. And I'm heavily into that, so I enjoy it, and it gives us a great test bed, even for new product that you may not know about. We had the Dagger was ran at the 2-Gun Nationals before it ever was sold, if I'm not mistaken.
That's cool.
So,
okay.
Tony Martin ran it and did really well.
Go ahead, Walt.
The pistol that I shot with Hank, when it came out of the box, I was really surprised how nice it looked. Aside from the little
Walt, keep your hands down.
Where you normally get wear on the barrel. Aside from that, the gun looked brand new. So, and we got done after shooting and dipping in the water and doing all this stuff. It looked the same. So
yeah,
that looked fine.
I think
that gun wore really well for 5,000 rounds. I need to get it to Steve, and I looked at it. It's going out. I think Josiah decided to take it to 10,000. Mm-hmm. I looked at it, and there's a little hood wear. There's some wear around the lock and lug and that kind of thing. But
that's normal.
If I'm not mistaken, the only thing that I've changed in it was around after you got it. I think we did the recoil spring.
Okay.
And really didn't need to do that, but it was at its service increment. I mean, the service increments are out there. If you look at them after 5,000 rounds, it's a good idea to change the recoil spring. I don't think it needed it, but I did it.
Yeah, we didn't see. Did we see anything? I don't think we saw anything in the spring. The trigger was getting nicer.
I mean, mechanical wear does a thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was.
People give that trigger a hard time, and I just, I put it this way. Every pro shooter that I've put the Dagger in, there's been probably Clint Upchurch. People don't know that. The guy that did the nerd video a while back, he was one of the best shooters in the country for years. Mm-hmm. Literally one of the best shooters in the country for years. He shot for FN. He shot for different Atlanta Arms. He shot for everybody. That guy's been around for years. Mm-hmm. He said nothing negative. Cold. He didn't shoot for FN. He shot for Cold. Mm-hmm. But he said nothing negative about the trigger. He pulled it. He said, "Man, that's not bad." He's one of the best shooters in the country. I mean, It didn't bother me either after it wore in. It was a little gritty at first, but after it wore in, it's fine. That trigger, that gun can do work straight out of the box.
Yeah, so let's see. We got let me get this super chat in here from Crump. I don't know if I missed any other super chats.
Money.
That's John Crump of NLN News and GOA. If anyone else did a super chat, let me know, and I'll scroll back and find it. My apologies for that. So triggers, can we have that conversation here for a little bit? Who's a trigger snob here that changes their trigger? Put your hands up. I'm not.
When it comes to Glocks, no.
Those two, yeah, the competition dudes. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I haven't changed a trigger in a Glock, but whatever I'm carrying, I want to have a regular type of trigger in there that's predictable to me. Does that make any kind of
carry
sense?
gun. You didn't say carry
Yeah,
gun.
my carry guns are factory.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, your carry stuff is factory. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'm looking at this as almost like a carry thing.
Yeah, that's what I see it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that trigger to be predictable. I know people put all kinds of different triggers in there. I'm not.
Yeah, so there's a whole different aspect and this is a rabbit hole that you could go down from a production standpoint. As how safe do you want that gun to be?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you build these safeties into it, but then there's also that factor of we have to, from an OEM, say this is a standard in which we're going to hold so that someone is not accidentally going to hurt themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a big thing from any OEM. And if they send you if it's a custom gun, that's when you're going to get something lighter or something that's really been polished, tweaked, whatever. So there's a safety aspect to a stock gun that you want to have. And that platform that we are using, go get a standard gun that you're comparing it to and shoot it and grab 100 of them and then tell me that they all feel the same, because there are tolerances to everything, right? So we are constantly looking into things that we can do to make it feel a little bit better. But the number one thing, one of my favorite saying, and one of my buddies who's a gun designer, he was the first person I heard say it. It's like, there's one proper way to empty a magazine, to unload a magazine, and that's to shoot it. And there's one proper way to break in any trigger that you get, and that's to shoot it. Yeah. And once you do it, you're taking a brand new gun that has brand new everything in it. Everything's got to get those little edges worn off and taken down, and the proper way to do it is to blast it, to literally do what it's designed to do, and that's to shoot it.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess I should have asked, like, what people are doing with these. Are they carrying them? Are they using them for competition? Is it like a fun gun? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's all.
I've read where some people are carrying them, but I think the adoption rate is high based on our sales, but low as in volume. And I think people are taking them to the range or shooting them, they're proving them before they carry them. I think that right now it's a baby. And people, there's going to be a little bit of hesitation from people to carry just go out and start carrying a gun. I mean, I wouldn't, unless I tested my gun that I purchased to 500, 750 rounds, I wouldn't carry it. That goes for any gun. I don't care who makes it.
That's what I was going to ask. Everyone here, like, how many rounds do you have to put through a gun before you carry it? So Chad says 750.
5 and 750, yeah.
Oh, okay, between 5 and 750. Yeah, Walt, how many rounds you putting through there?
I don't. The one I carry, I have not put 500 rounds through it. I can tell you that. But the average guy that buys a Dagger, sometimes will never put 500 rounds through them.
In the whole life of it, yeah.
Most people won't.
I mean, they'll shoot a box or two, and every once in a while, and and if it works for them, and they're happy. I mean,
I think that comes from mindset also. There's a certain mindset. I'm one of the guys. I'm like Chad. I'm probably 750 to 1,000, but that's a range session for me. Like, I'm going to go break. I have a goal. I'm going to work on this, and I'm also going to be breaking this gun at the same time. And it doesn't help that it definitely helps that I used to be sponsored by the Army, and got a ton of ammo. So it helps that
This is Steven's
You're
second
welcome.
flex on
You're
us.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Jeez.
So you have those guys that are going to really test their equipment, because that mentality is, I'm going to turn this on. If I ever have to use it, I want to make sure it works. So I kind of do that, 750 rounds or something like that, and then I'm going to test at least 2 or 3 magazines of the duty ammo that I'm going to carry with it, because every gun, it doesn't matter, two guns off of a line, are going to react different with different ammo. So you want to check that and make sure there's no intricacies that your gun has different than another.
Yeah. I recently switched from a Glock 43 to a Walther PPS M2. And how long was I testing that, guys? For
A long time.
A long time before I actually switched over. We went through all kinds of different ammo and wanted to know how this runs, that runs, in there, all kinds of stuff. So I think, if you carry all the time, I would agree with Chad and everyone else. You're going to put some things through there. Although what Walter says is true too. There's folks out there, you get it, you put a couple of boxes through it. I would say make sure you put exactly what you're going to carry in that gun. You put a couple of boxes through that gun before you.
Well, there'll be a lot of them too that never leave the safe. I mean, it's
Lots.
I have friends that have guns and they collect guns and they've never even shot them. I mean, it's just that kind of got it because I want mentality or whatever. I don't have a gun in this house that I don't think I've beat to almost near death.
That's
and this break, going back to this the break-in period, I got the Pro-Am big 3-gun matches this week, and last week I got a new Typhoon 12 gauge. If you've seen those, the F12.
Okay.
It recommends 100 rounds of high brass 2 3/4, 7/8 before it functions 100% reliably. That came in the box. It had a note in the box to do that.
What?
I bought one of the Black Aces tactical guns from you guys, the $259 shotguns.
Yep.
And you're supposed to run some stuff through it before you shoot the low brass stuff. I shot mine in the bullet trap. It worked. I haven't had a chance to go outside with it yet, but I'm completely confident it's going to run just fine. So.
Yeah. This Typhoon was I had one hiccup, and then after about the first magazine, the hiccup was with the magazines itself. I had 20 rounders, and it had a feeding issue. But once the magazine was straightened out, the gun was flawless, and you could look at where the wear patterns were on all the internal surfaces, and it polished together. Like Steven said, guns have to have a break-in. It's a mechanical device. But once you do that, I think you should be good to go if you have confidence after that 500 round mark. Usually issues with any type of firearm, the like QC type issues are going to show up within 500 rounds. Then you go into longevity failure parts. That usually happens between 25 and 5,000 rounds if it's going to happen. So
okay. Steven, I think you were going to say something there.
So just kind of on the amount of rounds that people shoot. There's a whole different concept too of what is a cheap gun and what is an expensive gun. So that goes into anything. What's an expensive car to you? What's an expensive car to me? Might be two different things. So a $300 gun is not just a $300 gun to everybody. That might be their safe gun. That might be their safe queen gun. One of the most expensive, or the most expensive handgun I have, is also the gun that has the most rounds on it, but that's a competition gun. But it's just like with this Dagger. Is it a $300 gun? Is that what the cost of it is? Yes. Is it a $300 gun? No, it's a $600 gun that we're selling for $300.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we were talking about in the beginning of the how we sell firearms and stuff, there is a point to, we don't have to mark it up. We're selling it direct to the customer. So there's not the distributor not marking it up and the store's not marking it up. We're selling it direct to you, customer, And so we can take all that cost out of it. And again, what Jamin's vision is, he wants everybody to be able to have as much freedom as possible.
Yeah, by no means do I think like $300 is entry level. I mean, I think entry level with handguns, what is it, like 150?
Yeah, I think 300 is a good. See, I think 300 is a good entry level. It's not overpriced entry level.
In this day and age, nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I don't see it as like a cheap gun either.
Yeah.
I think I would say it's an affordable way to get an all-round good handgun that, you know, someone out there can buy and use it for training and use to carry, etc. I mean,
yep. And you can put an optic on it that's going to cost more than the gun.
I had it in my hand and shot it. Of course, we didn't go away from our costing strategy, but I said, man, I'd have paid more for this, honestly. I mean, after I shot it and had time with it, was, you know, the fit, the feel, the function, the way the grip texture is, the grip angle. I like a 1911 grip angle. The Dagger grip angle's improved. You know, I like a short reset. The Dagger trigger reset, it's got a little sponge up front, but the reset's real snappy. So, you know, to me, I think you're getting a good value for that price tag that we set 2 years before we ever saw the gun. So,
yeah, don't push it up. Don't push the price up.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's good overall for everyone. Mm-hmm.
Well, what happened with what happened with the AKV, and I was heavily involved with that group. I love AKs now. PSA has turned me into an AK guy. But with the AKV group, we said we're going to do them at, let's say, I forget the exact number. It's been a couple of years, $599. Well, we did the $599 ones, and then everybody was like, oh, what if we had a rail handguard? What if we had an ALG trigger? What if we had a cryptic bolt? What if we had blah, 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 blah? So we add all this stuff to it, and then the comments are, see, they raised their prices. I remember back when they said they were going to do them for $599. Well, I can't put $500 those cryptic bolts are like $300. I can't put all that stuff.
Yeah, the triggers could be a couple $100.
Well, we've got great price on the triggers, but yes, it could be $100. You know, but I don't think we charged maybe $65 for the ALG upgrades, and people lost their minds because we weren't sticking to the original price. You can't stick to that original price. You know, I mean, when you start adding new stuff on it, that's what will happen with the Dagger. I'm starting to see it now. We did the Cerakote. That was an idea that Stephen had together. I had together.
You mean
we sent them off and had to pay a little bit more, and they weren't happy about it.
Yeah, what's that, Walt? So,
I was going to say, you don't mean I don't get the custom Dagger for $300?
Yeah, that's what it's going to happen. I'm already prepping myself for it.
Yeah.
So, and I'll chime in on that too. Like, so 2 years ago, PSA labeled the price on this gun. And is anybody else remotely in tune with what's happening in the world market with material costs?
Yeah.
Metals.
PSA has held, they have held the price on this gun when the cost of materials is just skyrocketing.
You mean you guys aren't going to push up the prices and say it's because of the chip shortage, you know?
Because of COVID.
You know, so they've held true to their bargain.
We're having problems getting foam.
Yeah. Every material is difficult out there right now from what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, we got some money from Armament and Axis.
Money.
Big thanks to Armament and Axis. He says, does PSA make a 10 millimeter upper for the AR? 10 millimeter, best millimeter. Does anyone?
I can speak from experience. I've probably shot more PCC rifles than half the planet. I will not put a 10 millimeter in a blowback.
Yeah.
Okay. Ain't happening. Nope.
Okay. There you go. Walt, you got something to say on this?
No, I was saying, okay, look at a 9 millimeter AR. They got pretty decent amount of recoil blowback.
Yes.
So think about a 10 millimeter. That's a lot more bang.
I'm more worried about it blowing up.
Well, you got to keep it closed long enough so it don't blow up. So that's that's the tough part,
Well, you have out of battery and having to accommodate for that, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I've seen every 9mm carbine made, regardless of manufacturer, have some form of a malfunction regarding out of battery discharges or feeding issues, pushing bullet setback. I've seen every one of them do it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, especially when they do the machine guns, same thing. You'll get or like, you ever have talk rev go out of battery? That round? That's a fun one. You get little pieces of metal in your arm and everything else. Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
If we did something like, one of the things I think is cool, talking about other manufacturers, JP doesn't get the credit that they deserve industry wide. They're heavily into the competition. They're kind of like Leadstar, but that new roller locking system, the MP5 based roller lock system that they put in their platform, the J5, that would be a good 10mm host because you have some locking function.
What's that, Patrick?
Rotating lock, right?
Yep.
It uses like a rotating. It's like an MP5, but it uses a slightly, instead of like bolts on the side. I think it rotates.
Oh, okay. Right. I'm glad that Chad brought up MP5.
Oh, that's my match.
Chad just looked like, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. I'm sure the MP5 came out. No.
I thought we covered that before we went on the air.
All right, let me.
Let me touch on it. Since you brought the damn thing up, let me touch on it.
You brought it up, Chad.
I didn't hear it say anything.
It's not abandoned. Everybody, I'm seeing people say we couldn't do it. It's abandoned. Blah 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 blah. The problem is the complexity of it and having an owner for it with all the other low-hanging products that we can come out with. The AK-47s, the 74s, the 105s, the 103s, all the different versions of the AK platform. Now we're doing Romanian build kits. We're doing Daggers. We've got the Jackal. The MP5 was just a lot to take a chunk out of. And one of the engineer, unfortunately, left us that was heading that up. And with the broadband and the access that we've got to the engineering department right now, they had so many other projects on their plate that we just hadn't been able to turn around and get back to it. But we'll eventually do it. It's something that we haven't threw away. It's just not something that's right in front of us that we have the access and the availability. Gun engineers are extremely hard to find. I mean, there's only, Stephen, what would you say, maybe less than 50 in the whole country that actually work on firearms?
Less than 50.
Yeah, I would put that number at 30 to 45, 50. So it's hard to get guys that do this day in and day out for a living. And we just, with the limited resources that we have and the products that we have available and the things that we could knock out sooner, that product just wasn't something that we could tackle, in the last couple of years. And I hate we released the SHOT Show early. We just, it is what it is. We've got a lot of hype around it. I know a lot of people want it, but I mean, you look at the number of products that we have came out with the last couple of years, and they're good. Our AKs are now being regarded as the best American-made AK by a lot of different circles, and we're doing Romanian parts kits, which are absolutely gorgeous. All that stuff.
I haven't seen this.
They're good. I mean,
this is the first I've heard of that. Are they just on the website?
Yeah.
I have not heard of that, but I will be looking later because I've been looking to build a Khyber Pass style gun. So I might.
So I've got Tula parts kit builds on the website, and they'll have FN barrels and PSA receivers.
Patrick is going online right now.
I am not going online.
Oh, he's not. Okay, you're not going online. Okay, so just to stick to the MP5 for a second, because I have gotten a lot of people saying to me, "Oh, I've heard rumors that PSA is dropping the MP5 altogether." You're saying flatly it's not dropped. It's just a little bit back burner.
It's not dropped. It's something we don't have the resources. We tackled it. Then the first person that tackled it, he's no longer with us. And then the owner of Leadstar, he was working on it. He's no longer with us. So I mean, we just didn't have somebody that could pick up the pieces and move forward with that product line because we had so many other things in the works. We've released 15 AKs since we talked about that gun. And then the Dagger. And we're also, I don't know if you've noticed, there's a lot of gun guys heavily, people who shoot and are part of the industry coming in the PSA right now. And, we didn't release the Dagger. We did release the Dagger, and we found out there were some issues with it. And, I called the owners and said, we can't do this. There's some problems with it. So we're trying to do a different approach to how we launch product, right? We're trying to make sure that they're positive and good, and they're going to be well received, and we're not going to be using, customers as a test ground that you see online all the time. We're actually putting a lot of thought into how we're doing this stuff, and we're not going to try to tackle something that we're not 100% confident that we can get it to the finish line and then out in the public's hands without some type of an issue. And that system is complex. And it has a lot of issues. Even the Germans will tell you, broke extractors all the time, firing pins. It needs to be improved.
Somebody who makes stocks for MP5. I make stocks for MP5K also. The MP5 receiver, no two are the same. Period. I don't care where you get it from. You get an HK one, you get a Turkish one. They're all different. They all have their little tweaks and differences because it's made out of sheet metal and it's bent in a die and it's welded together but people don't get it. They're like, well, why doesn't it fit on my HK? Well, talk to HK about that because it fits on this other guy's HK, or it fits on. We designed our stocks off the MKE guns, the Zenith gun when it was Zenith, and they fit pretty well. They fit on just about all of them. But you throw some of the other ones out there, and it's like forget Century, anything Century, old school Century, forget it. They won't even go on the back of it. Yeah. So it's because they're all bent different. So if you start making a MP5. And then you give it to Joe HK guy, and he pulls his HK stock off, and it doesn't fit on perfect. He's going to be crying like a baby. Why doesn't it fit? It should fit. Yeah.
We have that issue now with AK stuff. A lot of the Russian
HK guys are the biggest crybabies in the world, and I'll tell you that right now. They are the biggest princesses. Their little gun's got to work just right, and they gotta have no scratches on them. And they're little prima donnas, So, anyways, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, all the HK guys, send your hate mail to Walter.
You can send it to me.
But listen, you know what the thing is with the MP5, and I'll say we can.
It's an awesome platform. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I think it's an amazing, iconic gun. Okay, and there's people out there that are making clones or versions of the MP5. But I think with PSA, the reason why everyone's so excited is because people are expecting to be able to get a great MP5 at a very affordable price. And you might want to wait. You might be patient.
The price point that we initially talked about just really wasn't doable. I think we said $800 or something. But
I heard 1,000.
Not possible.
You're and maybe even if you do a really good version of it, I'd put it in the $1,200 range before you could even make some type of profit.
That's decent. I mean,
that's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at 1,600, 1,800
the
in some places.
The HK version is coming in at $3,000. I
$3K.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, please take it. Look, I mean, I'm a gun nerd too. I get where everyone's coming from. I'm not trying to knock anyone for really wanting to see it happen, but you really like if someone's going to actually do this, PSA is going to do it here at some point, right?
Yeah.
So let's just be patient. Yeah, let's be patient with them. And then when it comes out, it'll just be called the Hank or something like that. And everyone will be happy. Everyone will be happy.
The HS5.
Yeah, I named my MP5 that I had. I had a parts kit. Actually, Babyface and I both got some parts kits put back together, and mine was put back together and named the Hank.
It's engraved on it, the Hank.
Yeah, it's engraved on there. It's the Hank. So, but I'll share that with you guys at PSA.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just like I'll charge you like
Send
$10,
it-
$10 for each gun. That's all.
Send it to us for R&D purposes.
Yeah.
As long as you promise not to cut it up, you can. Yeah, you can absolutely.
I have
1,000
no
rounds later.
idea what condition you'll get it back in. I have
Oh,
zero clue.
No,
But
then
it'll have a few. I'll make sure it's broken in for you for sure.
oh,
100%.
yeah, it's trust me, it's broken in. Okay, let's see. We got another super chat from Armament and Axes, and then we're gonna move on here.
money.
He says, what does he say? He says, no offense, but High Point makes a blowback 10mm carbine. Laugh out loud, 10mm pistols or blowback. How about 10mm gas gun AR? Okay, so there you go.
We could possibly do that, but and High Point can knock ourselves out. I'm not sticking a 10mm. I've just nope.
Yeah,
I think you could probably get by with gas, and maybe some type of delayed radial locking system or something. But I wouldn't. And
does High Point have a 10mm
pistol-
handgun? Is it a handgun
they
or a
lock
carbine? I thought it was a
They
carbine.
lock,
Yeah.
but a pistol will lock up in some form or fashion.
Well, what I was going to
Right.
say is my understanding is that High Point's 10mm is a carbine, not a handgun. Am I wrong?
It is. You're right.
I believe you're right.
Yeah. So what do we?
The problem
Yeah.
the problem with the 10mm cartridge base is bigger than an AR-15 bolt head. So you can't use an AR-15 bolt head. So you'd have to use like an AR-10 type bolt head, and then everything just grows exponentially. So
Or
can
you
just
do a
go-
KS-47, a hybrid like a 6.5
Yeah.
Grendel or a 6.8 or something like that, and try to do it. And I just don't like the idea of something with that high pressure being a blowback that close to my face.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you sell that many, to be quite honest with you.
I don't.
That's
we
the-
won't. Everybody
that's the
wants a
only
10mm. Give me a
It's
10mm.
10
Give me
millimeters.
the 2 guys buy them that wants them and they never. You're done.
Yeah.
And then all that
10mm
R&D
not-
work.
10 millimeters not a plinking round.
No.
No.
You don't go out and blast 100 rounds of 10mm. I haven't. done
No.
that, so
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. So I know there's lots of fans of 10mm out there. I'm not knocking anyone.
I know.
I get it.
Yeah.
I understand where everyone's coming from on that one. Okay, let's move on here. Motorboater a little while back says, just got here. Any updates on the Jackal? Since we're in the update category this is not Dagger. We're gonna get back to Dagger stuff here. Any updates on the Jackal?
You know,
At the sawmill, I shot one at the sawmill. I know that was a pre-production prototype.
we learned a lot from that Jackal.
Okay.
When we got it out there, it went through about 500 rounds. We brought it back in. They laid it on my desk. We studied it, and we've got some more work to do.
Okay.
There's things that you wouldn't have seen that we've seen just from being who we are. And that product's like the Dagger. We're not going to release it until we know for sure it's going to be history. There was some premature wear on patterns and that kind of thing that we need to work through, but nothing major. I would love to be able to release that thing around SHOT Show next year. But it's, again, we're being more reserved in how we release and launch products. And that one at this point in time wasn't ready, and we're going back and we're redesigning. I had an active call this morning for about an hour going over, parts and what we're going to change and how things interoperate. So about every other day, I'm either going, on a phone call with somebody or talking to somebody in the other engineering lab, or going down to Florida where that's being developed at to kind of go through changes that'll make it better. And until we get those changes that make it better, we're not going to attempt to release it.
Okay. I mean, I definitely know someone in Florida that would be very happy to help you guys. Test out that Jackal.
It was a very viable product. You shot it. I mean, a lot of people shot it.
I was very excited. I was actually more excited. So I'm not trying to knock the Dagger. because I think the Dagger's fantastic, and I'm glad to see it out here. I was most excited at that SHOT Show about the Jackal.
Yep. It feels good. I mean, for what it is, it's a soft shooting gun, man. I think it will be a absolute success whenever we launch it. But what we saw and what we observed during that kind of like another torture test that we had with you guys, there was just some parts in there that we were like, maybe we need to improve upon them before we put them into main production. That upper's a little unique to us. It's a very new product. It's not like you're copying an AR-15 or something like that. That's a proprietary. That will be somewhat of a proprietary gun for us, and we've got to get that right.
Yeah, and I think guns in that category. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Well, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback here.
I
I
got
don't
an
know if that's
echo
me.
from somebody.
Yeah, guns in that category. Correct me if I'm wrong, Walter. Are typically coming in at what, like $2,000? Those. What can we say is in that category? What is the SIG? What's the name of the? You have one of the SIG guns like that, I think.
Rattler?
Yeah, the Rattler, I think. And then there's the BRN by the BRN 180, I think, is somewhere in that range. Those are expensive guns.
Refresh my memory. The Dagger is kind of AR 180 based.
No, Jackal.
The Jackal. Yeah, the Jackal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It has that same type of gas system or operating system, if I'm not mistaken.
Piston.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, okay. All right. Yeah. It all depends, I mean, once again, here you go. Here, do you get your gun with fancy optics? Do you like iron sights? Do you get no sights? Do you folding stock, fixed stock? Where does it fall in there? I mean, it's
yeah. Well, this you'll be able to put whatever stock you want on it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Correct.
Yeah. And you can get a small package where, if you look at, for example, what SIG and other people, not trying to knock anything out there, but I like to see those really cool, exciting guns that are out there come down to a more affordable level where more of us can get them. As Chad was saying, that this is like the mission plan for Jamin, right? That these cool guns that are out there, everyone in America can get their hands on them. Some of this takes time for us to actually develop one that's reliable.
Yeah.
To do it. So.
And that gun fed. I mean, if you stood any time near our booth, it was the number one. That gathering's going to be huge again next year. But our booth was probably the most busy the entire time. And that gun was hammered. No feed. We had very few feeding issues. I think it got hot at one point, and people were doing mag dumps back to back and things you'd expect after heavy carbon buildup. We had to go clean it. But other than that, I mean, for a prototype gun, that gun ran really well. It's just some of the patterns that we have an education on to look for and things of that nature, we weren't 100% happy with. So, we want to have that peace of mind that when we produce that product, that it's going to be something that you guys are proud to own.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one's asking about AK-74s. I know you were putting out the AK-74s, but there's some really cool stuff that it's coming out and on the way out, right?
The 105 and the 5.56 AKs, I'm chomping at the bit. We're hosting a lot of, which you ought to come up to. We're doing a lot of matches now for AKs.
Oh, really? Okay.
AK only type shooting events. We got one coming up on December the 18th.
Oh, okay.
But I'm chomping at the bit to get a 5.56 AK.
Okay.
I need one for a lot of different reasons, and we're very close.
In the next 2 years, those going to become real popular.
It's the AK 5.56 that uses Magpul magazines.
Oh, interesting.
I would AR magazines.
Okay, I would like to see a crank. Right now, Babyface has a crank.
Hey, that was a big. You just glossed over something. Big,
the Magpul
Right
magazines. Yeah, go ahead.
PMags is what you're saying.
Yes, it uses PMags.
That's a big. That's not something you just gloss over, Hank. That's a big deal.
Truth. Okay.
Because
5.56,
he spent a lot of time on that to make it. We didn't want it to be like a clunky adapter, so he and his brother designed one. It's sexy looking. I can't. I'm so excited for that. I want one so bad.
Who designed this?
Colton and Cody.
Oh, okay.
Colton's sons. You met him.
Yeah.
Big burly guy with big beard.
Right. Yes.
Looking at like original AK 5.56 AK mags, they tend to be really expensive. So that's a pretty good thing.
We could have went that route. We could have did a Rock and Lock 5.56, but the magazines are expensive. We'd have to develop a magazine, kind of like we did with the AKV. We just didn't want to do that. Jamin, his vision to have the 5.56 AK was to use a mag adapter that uses PMags because everybody's got PMags. So
Yeah, that's
it's
cool. I'm
working
on
out
board
really
with that. I
well.
would love to try it.
There's some, if I'm not mistaken, there's some 5.56 AK mags coming in now from Croatia, if I'm not mistaken.
There are, I think, some Croatians now. They're just,
Yeah, the
but
injection,
they just
injection
came in.
molded ones. Yeah, they're new. Yeah.
They had pretty much
yeah.
tried it. Like
Yeah,
the market
so
for it,
so right now everything in this category is using those weird AR, like the weird kind of magazines, right?
The banana
Well,
magazine.
they're AK Rock and Lock
AK
magazines.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking. No,
So you don't-
the 5.56 ones. Aren't there some? Aren't there already some 5.56 AKs
Yeah,
out
there
there?
you go. An
there's
SLR.
there's Yugoslavian or Serb 5.56 AKs that coming in the country right now.
Yeah. Okay.
So
And it's got kind of like a weird magazine.
They use it. No, it uses like an AK mag. It looks
Oh,
like an AK
okay.
It
mag.
looks almost exactly like a 74 mag, like an AK 74
Got a
mag,
different-
except it's a
Got
little
a
more
different
straight.
curvature to it.
Okay.
Different curvature.
But they're Rock and Lock instead of push button
Right,
release.
right.
So we're doing both. We're going to have a traditional mag release and a thumb release.
Cool.
Interesting.
I'm digging.
Okay.
I'm digging
That's
for one,
That's
Patrick.
cool.
Yeah.
Here you go, Patrick. Just
Oh,
hold your
you
horses
have
and
one
I'll show
pulled
you.
out?
Of course,
Okay, here we
I got
go.
a whole,
Walter
I got a
with
whole
the-
thing full of them. Come on.
Okay. Let's see it.
Really?
Let's see it, Walter.
Walter's got a little bit of everything.
Go ahead. Show off a magazine to us.
This is a
There you
this
go,
is a Chinese.
5.56.
This is a Chinese 5.56 mag.
Okay.
So you can see the shape of it. It's
Very
kind of
straight.
74. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a 74, but not.
Okay.
Here,
That's what I was
I
thinking.
can show off. I can show
Oh,
off
now
the-
everybody's showing off magazines. Okay.
There's a 74 Dusty, but there's a 74 Tula magazine.
Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be an adapter or no adapter necessary, and you can put in PMags. What are we
There
talking
has to
about?
be some form of an adapter type.
Okay.
But it's not clunky and it doesn't look like an afterthought like some of the other kits out there. This one looks like it's more integrated. You have to be able to have a little bit of extension beyond the bottom surface of the receiver to be able to contain the mag release and the bolt the mag release and the thumb release as well. So, or the traditional release, the paddle. So it does have a mag type configuration. It just looks more integrated into the gun,
Okay.
kind of like an AKV, so to speak.
Okay.
Century Arms imported a few years ago some Serb AKs and 5.56 that had that adapter on the bottom.
And they look back. They don't. He didn't like that bulkiness. This actually looks like it was designed.
Looks like an adapter on those. So.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. That will be interesting to see. I'm glad that Patrick. I was just trying to get to the crank. I'm waiting for a crank.
The stinky crank.
Yeah. I'm waiting for one of those to come out. But no
They're
one.
actually not that far off.
Okay.
That's what I
awesome.
want to hear.
That's what I'm saying. So what about 5.45?
The 74s we're waiting on. The problem with the 74 we had, we did see. I don't know if you've watched the Grand Thumb video. There was a question about some abnormal wear, and we're wrapping that up with him. I talked to him last week. A lot of people think that video caused us to stop production, and it didn't. What caused us to stop production is the 47 market got extremely hot, and there's only a certain number of, when everybody says there's only 4 forges as a joke. There's like only 2 people that do AK trunnions, and if
People don't
we're
realize
hot
that,
on
but yeah,
47s,
Forging like that is not an American thing. We do not do that here a whole lot.
Oh, hang on now. Whoa. Forgings. I mean, come on. We make forgings
no.
for airplane landing gears.
We make forgings for everything. No. We do forgings for aircraft and whatnot, but AKs, no. Non-existent.
I get that part.
There's only
familiar
one,
doing that.
There's one or two companies I know of that'll tackle it, and if we're hot and heavy on 70 or 47s, it's just like if you look on our website, people complain that we don't have Creedmoors or Grendels or any of that stuff. during the peak, 308 and 223 is king. So if you got all your machines running 223 and 308, you're not going to flip them over to run Grendels that may or may not sell because people's not wanting that. You run 223 and 308. So we've had multiple sourcing issues. Our 47 source isn't exactly where it needs to be, but like I say, there's very few companies. One of the reasons why we're doing Toolcraft. Toolcraft makes an excellent BCG. They're about to start making bolts and trunnions for our AK premium line. So,
okay.
We're
so
trying
you guys
to
don't.
expand.
So those are parts that you guys are not making in house, right? But they are coming from here in the States.
We don't make the forge and the machining, but we will. They are going to come in house. The trunnions. We like to control our own destiny to a certain degree, and we are going to bring the trunnions back into Toolcraft. We announced that about a month or so ago on the AK groups.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's interesting.
Are you guys? Is there any plan? You mentioned before that you guys are doing Romanian parts kits, which, by the way, I haven't been able to find, and I will continue to look for on the site. Are you guys? So the reason I come at this is my channel is about I started my channel building AKs. So I've probably built about 10, including I got a Krink, I built some Tantals, Galil, a bunch of different AKs. Are you guys going to be doing American-made parts kits? Is that a thing at any point?
Oh, interesting. Good question.
So we did that a while back. We did that several years ago, and the unfortunate, it could have changed because the AK market's different now. I feel like I've got a good pulse on the AK guys and a good reading on how they respond, and I think the education's gotten better. But when we first did it, people were messing those kits up really bad.
Oh yes,
and they would get really aggravated, and they would want refunds because they said the parts didn't fit or didn't work, or there was problems here.
That's your fault.
Yeah, it's not an AR. And I think the AR guys wanted to buy an AK kit and put it together.
Thank you.
A very different beast. You
Can
can't
you?
just go.
Okay, let me ask all you AK aficionados while I have you here. How come you guys can't make AKs be like ARs? Damn it! Can't we do something? Can't we do something to revolutionize the AK world? Or do you feel like those AK guys won't adapt that?
You could, but nobody. I mean, they'd make fun of it. It'd be laughed off the market.
Oh, okay.
People, AK dudes want an AK.
The Russians already have, but you'll never see it here because they can't import the stuff. They've made detachable barrels. They've done all this stuff, but
so cool.
It's not impossible. How much do you want to pay for your AK? How much does the AK guy want to pay?
I want to pay $5.99.
They don't want to pay what they cost now, probably, because they're still thinking about $400 AKs.
Well,
so
dude, I still hear from guys who say that they remember when AKs were $75, which I know you said that never happened.
I know. They were doing drugs, so they were never $75. They're getting confused with an SKS,
right?
But
or a parts kit.
An average AK, you put with 2,000. Well, yeah, parts kits. Yeah, they were all over the place. Yeah, for $75. But look at the high end AKs in our market now, like the you know who I'm talking about. There's 2 or 3 of them. They don't sell them in mass. Sorry.
Yeah.
They don't sell those by the thousands. Those are all ordered, and they trickle them out. So if you threw out a $2,000 AK just because you can change the barrel, people are going to go, "Well, what's so special about that? What makes that better than my regular?"
How much better is it?
Yeah.
How much
it's
better
hard
is
to
it?
quantify how much better something is based on whose criteria.
Yeah.
Well, it's also hard to, as somebody who sits on the fence between AKs and ARs. I love both of them equally. To be honest with you, it's like having 2 children. It's kind of hard to beat the AK and the success. And you look in these third world countries, and they have samples of guns that's been drugged through the mud, the blood, and the sand, and
for 40 years.
They're still shooting them.
Yeah.
Well, for people out there for guys out there
and
that
I
never
challenge
owned an AK,
I challenge anybody.
Go ahead.
I challenge anybody to find a AR M16 that came out of Central America, that came out of Vietnam, that still runs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And do you think that any of those Afghanis
I'm pretty sure an AR-15 is just as
Are
durable,
any of them cleaning
if
them?
not more so, than an AK. And I like AKs.
And cared for the same way that same AK.
Oh, Patrick don't like that. I know he doesn't like that. I've torture tested this stuff. You could jam an AK pretty easy. I've done it.
Yeah, if you tried to, but
No,
do you think Afghanis are cleaning those things ever? They're rubbing camel pee on it, and that's enough to clean it.
I think it's easier to clean an AR.
What? That's not the question here. The question is, do they
You
do
don't,
it?
you don't have to clean AK.
Huh?
Yeah, it just goes.
That's not true.
Who
Well,
cleans an AK? What are y'all doing?
I don't know. Well, I don't think you really. Well, I guess you don't have to clean it that often, but you could easily have jams and things like that. If you do side by side torture tests, I remember I did it myself. I tortured a bullpup, an AR, and an AK all at the same time.
Oh,
do you know?
okay.
Do you know which one actually did better? You guys are gonna hate me. Bullpup.
Yeah.
What bull is it?
Huh?
You gave that
the
bullpup
Tavor.
treatment.
Yeah, the Tavor did the Tavor did the best. Then came the AR. The AK stripped off a shell casing, and the guy who was doing it happened to not have his cleaning rod. You better have your cleaning rod on the gun. If something happens, and that shell casing anything gets stuck in there, you got issues.
All I have to say is give those 3 guns the 3 hut livers. People live in
See which
huts
one
out in the
they
woods,
stick with. Yeah.
and give about
I'm just stoking the
25
flames.
years,
I'm just stoking the flames.
25 years, 25, 30 years, and see which one still shoots.
Okay, so apocalypse happens right now. Everyone, what are you grabbing?
My AR.
AR or AK?
I probably go for my old school.
I'm grabbing an AR.
I got way more AK ammo.
Okay, Chad,
Yeah,
you got to chime in. Chad.
I have a lot of rounds to ARs. Yes, I grab it.
That's exactly. I have a very.
I'm not going to be doing 1,000-yard shots. I'm not going to be doing.
That Patrick is showing. What
I
you
have a
showing
very fancy AR versus a very plain AK, and I have more ammo, more 5.56 than I do.
I have way more AK ammo than I do AR.
Yeah, everyone could tell us in the chat what they're grabbing. Yeah, listen. By the way, I've seen guys I've gone and done training and stuff like that, and seen guys rocking it with AKs with iron sights. And I remember the last time I did that, we were shooting at like 300 yards, 600 yards. Dude was fine.
I will tell you though, if you have a chance to come to one of our AK shoots, it sold out last year. It was close to 260 people. We're going to try to get 400 in it this time. Coolest group of dudes you'll ever be with. It is nothing like an AR match. It's the guys are just so friendly and nice and laughing and joking, and they're just wanting to beat their buddies, not win the match. You know, it's a whole different culture.
So kind of one of the things that touched on. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Walter.
No, that's all right. Go on. I was going to compare the AR guys to the HK guys.
Yeah, Walter's going to get in some digs.
Oh god.
No, so in reality, the way I think about it, when somebody says apocalyptic, what are you going to grab if it's things hit the fan? Where do we live? Where do we live? We live in America. We don't live in a third world country where that is the most prevalent ammo anywhere. So, I mean, for everything that we do here, like AR is king.
If somebody dropped me over in Afghanistan or Pakistan or one of those countries and said pick some gun to fight with, AK,
totally different.
AK, because I can get crates upon crates of 7.62 39. Just
You
better
get a good. You better get a good AK. You better hope that the barrel's straight. I guess you got lots of options.
I can build
just
my
need
own.
to scare them with it.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I go to the Khyber Pass.
I'm gonna get one of the Humvees and an M4 that we just left over there. That's what I
want.
Some thermals.
Yeah.
They've probably got a lot of ARs over there now. By the way,
the one thing I was going to say about that,
I've heard
Patrick,
rumors
was
through
that
military guys that I know, and it's not what the TV says.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Steve.
No, one thing I was going to say to Patrick is, depending on where you got dropped in Afghanistan, I could probably walk you to a point where there was a bunch of ammo, just a hole was dug, and 5.56 was dropped in the hole in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You never
Listen,
know.
here's the reality to all that. I think if you're well-rounded, you can rock and roll with anything. And one gun can get you to another gun, and you deal with whatever situation.
All I need is a 22 to start with. That's all I need.
That's right.
I don't care how much body armor you got. There's always a spot.
I'll trade. We'll trade my way up. Like that.
There's always a spot.
Yeah. All you need is a 22 and some toilet paper, and you can survive the apocalypse.
real quiet too, by the way. Real quiet.
Okay,
Those are always. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's cool. I was gonna say we should probably get back to Dagger business here, because we got way off on a. Chad's like, I know I came on here to talk about the Dagger.
I don't know.
Yeah, so let's see. Chris Bullis, he said, "What's up, Pat?" Well,
I had one of the questions. Something I heard at that SHOT Show. Was SVD.
Oh boy.
That's all. Just use those. And they're sick. No. I heard.
Well, it's the pecking order, right? So you got to have the RPK style, bigger trunnion, that kind of thing. So that's going to be a natural progression. It's just not. Did I freeze up? Oh, sorry.
No, you're still
It's just we're not ready for that yet. But one of the things, the long-standing joke on the AK groups that I'm, a big part of with the PSA family. I want a 6.5 SVD so bad so I can shoot PRS with it. We'll do one. I think Jamin's wanting to do one in 308 before we do a.
Is that going to be like 650 or what do we?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, that's a $600 gun.
That's a lot. The furniture and everything's just really expensive to obtain.
Well, there's some guys on the forums that feel like they could get those pretty cheap. I mean, I've seen some forum stuff where dudes say they can get those. Huh?
So did Mac.
You talking about the kids?
No, I'm just saying there's some dudes who claim that they could get them real cheap. So I was just saying. I'm being.
What did it come down to?
I am being facetious. I'm being facetious. You're not going to get them that cheap.
I'll give you a story about the SVDs. I know where there's a crate in a sovereign nation that I could probably get for next to nothing if I could just get them approved by the ATS. I'm talking like maybe $4,000 or $5,000 a piece, and I can't get my hands on them.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy
$4,000 or $5,000 a piece.
Those are $35,000 guns in the U.S. Over there, they're $1,500.
Yeah. I was.
I've seen that movie though.
They
go to jail.
Yeah, I was messing with you. I don't expect those to come anywhere near 650. I was just because look, I saw when that whole thing blew up that happened with Mac, and I saw dudes like, oh, we were gonna get these things for like $600. What's going on? I was like, I don't even know about this, and I know that's insane.
They were at first told like $2,500.
There's an option there that we could import, but the problem is they didn't want a true SVD, right? You don't. I mean. I don't want a PSL. I'd want an SVD. You can get PSLs from anywhere. PSL SVDs.
I'm talking about Dragunov. That's what I'm talking about.
I want a Dragon.
Yeah.
I gotta do a video on one, Walter. I have access to a Chinese SVD, and I need to just borrow it at some point. My cousin owns it.
I'm curious where Chad is talking about, and how can we get like some kind of boat or something to sail over?
Man, trust me, if I could get them into this country, they'd be here.
The stories. I just wonder. Go ahead.
Say this. I have a friend who does do a lot of importing and stuff. There's no shortage of cool stuff overseas.
You can't get it in, right?
We have a problem with our government. That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah,
we're doing, y'all, people may not know this, but one of the things we started doing during the pandemic, we're working with partners on imports. We've got, Romanian kits coming in. We've got Russian kits coming in, most of them Tula. We got a big shipment of magazines in, plums, bakes, the whole nine, or plums and slabs in the other day. A lot of stuff coming. We got a lot of Tula coming. I'm surprised that nobody's brought up the whole Russian ammo.
I was going to get to I was going to bring up the ammo thing when we were talking about 545. Are you guys still getting a bunch of ammo coming in? I know some of these things go on for, you can go on for a couple of years. Here.
There's a lot of misconception about what the government did. What they did specifically with ammo was just say they weren't going to approve any new permits. There's permits out there that are 50 million. I know a couple that are 50 million deep, but it just takes time to get it here. So there's always going to be demand. I think we're going to be somewhat okay now. I see the long term effect. If we don't get it straightened out, could be pretty bad for us. But just taking a relaxed stance on it and paying what current rates are is going to keep the prices down and keep the boats coming in. A lot of these people, they'll buy 50,000 rounds and shoot 200 a year, just because they don't think they're going to get it anymore. And I don't necessarily think that's the case as of today.
Okay.
We've got some on the water. We've got more coming in. We've got open permits. I heard through the grapevine of another importer that there was a permit approved that had been outstanding. It was approved after the date. So I see I think they were trying to make a point when they did that, but I don't think we're in dire straits at this very moment with that ammo specifically. And I think eventually somebody in the U.S. that's got the power to do it's going to start making that ammo and make it available pretty cheap for people so that we can go on a podcast and talk later about it.
Yeah, so is it somebody that we know? Is it someone that we know very
Please, I'm just putting it out there. 545.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mike just cut out. I don't know what happened.
Oh. Well, I mean, 545 is a thing. So do you guys have 545 at PSA?
It's the hardest to get right now because it's a limited group of people that buys it. 223 9mm. It's kind of like 54R. When the people who wants it can't find it because there's not a lot imported, so it makes it look like a bigger problem than it actually is. The truth of the matter is, when I send a boat over the water to bring ammo here, you can only put, I think there's 2 containers per shipment because of safety concerns per the shipping companies. Mm-hmm. Each one of those holds about 1.2 million rounds. So you get 2 million a shipment every 2 to 3, 4 weeks based on current climate and shipping, transit, and all that. So what do you put on the boat? Do you put 2 million rounds of 7.62, or do you put 54R?
Yeah, of course. This makes sense.
You put the stuff on that's already sold before the container even gets here. That's
things that nobody thinks about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think 545 not selling well? Because I'm going to assume that's the one thing I'm worried more about 5545 than 7.62. But
545 is the unit. It has us very small. You think about the number of people in this country that has 74s. It's not that popular. It wasn't that popular, and it's not heavily. People's not running out to buy a 545 like they do 7.62 9mm 223. They'll buy it,
even when you talk about militarily 545, Bulgaria and Russia are the only ones still using it. I think everybody went back to 7.62 39. So even in the military side of things, it's not that popular.
Yeah.
Right.
Kiyaski says, make bigger containers, problem solved.
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
I think it's a limit of how many you can have in the container. I think there's a certain amount. I don't know all those details, but I know it's limited. And
okay. Tell me if this is out of bounds, but I know that there's been some.
Yeah, I know. The answer's going to be yes.
Yeah, Chad, I can tell Chad's looking at me. So there's some acquisitions that were made lately, right? There's the whole Freedom Group thing that all got. You guys got a piece of that breakup. Anything that we're going to see out of that come in, like with PSA ammo, etc.
Walter had his hand up, Chad.
No, I'm deliberately ignoring. Okay, I'm deliberately ignoring Walter.
Oh God!
Yeah, we're nothing's off the table with any of that stuff right now.
Right.
We look at every avenue that we could go into. Jamin looks at every avenue he can go into. I can tell you, I'm reviving Storm Lake. We got that through an acquisition. We're going to start doing, or we through the Remington ordeal.
Okay.
AAC suppressors are coming back.
Okay.
For sure. There's already a ammo line or whatever the sports wire release on that, a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
We've had H&R. H&R was one of the first actual military roll marks on M16s at the time.
H&Rs they're cool. Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah.
Single barrel shotguns. Come on.
Yeah. Very few people know that they made guns for the military, so we're gonna bring that roll mark back. I mean, there's some cool things we're doing with them. But
if I can put in a request, and I hope somebody else has said this already. 300 blackout handy rifle. Those things dried up so quickly years ago. I want one so damn bad, and they're nowhere to be found.
That platform is so versatile. You can go.
You can do all calibers
on that thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and that's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The handy rifle was like the breakdown gun, right?
Mm-hmm. Back about 8 or 10 years ago, H&R did a partnership with AAC where they did a run of AAC marked 300 blackout handy rifles. If you want to talk about the quietest 300 blackout, put a can on the end of that. Oh my God, they are stupid quiet.
Yeah,
but the market dried up on them. They stopped producing them, and now they went from $250 a piece to like $8 a piece.
Yeah, those are very popular. I don't know. So is that coming out? So obviously these are different names. Are they coming out separate? Or under the big umbrella? How It
depends on what the product is. I mean, like with Storm Lake, we'll leave it Storm Lake because they had such a good reputation in barrels. I actually know through just a friend of a friend, I actually found the shop where the employees went to go to work. So I mean, the brain trust for that brand is within driving distance of our shop. So it'd be dumb to leave that product out there hanging. Mm-hmm. So, that'll definitely be a Storm Lake brand. The AAC brand, he's got a joint venture going on with a machine shop that had some suppressor technology already. They're going to try to revive. But you look at AAC, they were way ahead of their time back then.
Mm-hmm.
Things have changed, so I don't know that we'll revive some of their suppressors, but there'll definitely be newer style suppressors in that product lineup.
Okay, that's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that. We had the guy from
brand was that?
AAC.
So you're telling me you now own both AAC and Harrington and Richardson, who made the handy rifle that I want so desperately. I'm just, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying those words out loud.
We had
AAC handy rifle.
We had what's his name from Q on, who I think he was at AAC before in the past.
He started
in Birmingham. He started AAC.
Yeah, he started
it. He was AAC. AAC.
I remember him saying he wanted to buy it back from you guys.
Well, he bought it back once already.
So, but
I have no idea what happened with it.
It's going to be interesting to see what you guys do there. That's the exciting part. But a lot of that I know has been it's slow. There are companies from that whole breakup that are putting out things. Things are slowly coming out.
Things are always messy after a breakup.
Yeah. and like some companies have completely separated, so it's not like they're standalone companies, for example.
That was a real messy breakup. That was like the worst divorce you could go through, I think, for that whole product line. They did so much damage to those brands,
Yeah. Well, and so for example,
the damage was done to those brands when they became the Freedom Group, and I'll be quite honest with you. Mm-hmm. Soon as I don't know about you, like DPMS. We used to see those guys at the Knob Creek machine gun shoot. You talk to them, friendly, Goes into Remington. Now you got to deal with Remington sales guy who didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, who got don't you guys? Didn't JJE get DPMS? Am I wrong with that?
Yeah, we're shipping DPMS guns right now. They're price point guns.
Mm-hmm.
What we're trying to do, the PSA brand has stabilized a lot. I mean, our customer reviews have gotten a lot better. The quality has been picked up. The AKs are doing really well. DPMS is going to be the distributor line. Instead of, we want to continue to sell the good PSA product direct to consumers as much as possible, but have another alternative product that we can sell to distributors. So DPMS is right as of today a distributor only product line.
That's I think that's really interesting. Go ahead, Walt. I don't know if everyone realizes what you're saying there either, but that's it. So just to quickly, I just want to clarify this for a second, Walt. Hold on a sec. Just remember that question. So for people who want to get stuff from PSA and have it in their stores, you're saying that DPMS is going to be like the distributor, so my local gun store can have PSA stuff coming in through there. Am I right or wrong on that?
We'll continue to sell PSA branded product to dealers, but we also sell that same product to consumers, which is what takes up most of that product that we have available. DPMS will go only to dealers.
Right.
Okay.
So that's the difference. They'll be able to buy 100 guns right now, and PSA, we're going to throttle that. We want to be able to get those out to other people. If you want to buy 100 DPMSs, they'll ship tomorrow.
Okay.
From a dealer and distribution standpoint.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting. Walt, what was your question?
One of the cool things DPMS had that happened when they were Remington is that 308 rifle they had that they downsized. So it was a 308 type AR, but not in the AR-10 package. They made everything smaller, more compact, and everything else. Is that still going to be around, or is that something that
we haven't looked at? Right now, they're just AR-15s and standard 308s. We did that X format 308 a while back, the little small. Was it the PX10 or whatever? It's kind of like what you're talking about. It was a smaller framed. It was confusing to a lot of people because there's no standards on AR-10s. And you had, DPMS high, DPMS low, then you had the Bushmaster mid, you had all these different styles. And
Armalite.
Yeah. When we did that thing and it didn't work with half the other stuff that didn't work with other stuff that was on the market, I think it confused people. We just didn't, and it had a proprietary bolt. You couldn't, one of the only things between all those other form factors was the fact that the bolt was about the same. And then we entered our hat in the ring and the bolt was different. So we just haven't.
That's one of the problems. That's one of the problems with the AR-10 platform. There's so many different versions of it that it's not like an AR-15. You can take an AR-15 part from 1967 and drop it in a brand new gun and it'll work for the most part. So
yeah. I'm really super excited about what's going to come out from Freedom Group being split up. Not just with you guys. I mean, congratulations to you all for. I think you got some choice bits in there with lots of cool intellectual property inside of it, for sure. But yeah, I'm really encouraged that some for real 2A believing, American companies got their hands on some of these things, and perhaps we're going to get a chance to see really high quality versions of some really favorite guns out there come back.
Yeah, out of all of it, I'm excited for the stuff that we get. We were able to obtain, but my first gun was a Marlin, 22. I think it was a 59A, tube fed 22. I shot more squirrels and beer cans and everything you could think of with that gun. It's nearly wore out. I've always held Marlin to a deer standard, but them Ruger buying them, I think will be the best thing that ever happened to Marlin. Yeah. Period. That was a great acquisition.
I would 100% agree.
Ruger does a lot of their stuff in house too. Their casting and all that stuff too. So
they do. Ruger's they're a great solid company. They always have been.
Especially after Bill Ruger went away.
I was going to say until after Bill Ruger.
Walter, you could not resist that, huh?
Well, he was look at the cool stuff that came out. If Bill Ruger was still alive, there'd be no AR-57. There'd be none of these modern type guns. He was a very traditionalist.
I think there was some old school gun guys that own companies that in the industry that just don't feel the way that some of the new school guys do, like Jamin. I mean, looking at this.
And as a civilian, you didn't need a high capacity magazine as far as.
Oh, that's nonsense. But yeah,
if you get drugged deeper into the gun company culture, I was shocked. And this is me. I've done this for years, even before PSA. I was, law enforcement, running matches, I've been engulfed in the gun community way before I got in the gun industry. And you'd be surprised how many gun decisions and stuff that is done by people that aren't gun people in this industry.
I'm not
absolutely.
yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised anymore, but yeah, it was shocking when I first.
They're all suits. They wear suits and ties.
All my counterparts play golf.
If
I go to the SHOT Show, I'm very unique in the industry, to be honest with you. No other CEOs play on Facebook and go shoot matches every weekend.
That's wild.
But that's the way it should be. It's you expect it to be that way, and it really isn't, because you're talking to some, like, if you get to talk to some of these guys and you're trying to talk about gun stuff, or like I've seen some of the bigger guys than me, the real super gun nerds, like a Military Arms channel, having conversations with some dudes, and their eyes are glossing over because they're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And I'm getting excited.
Right. Yeah, I could imagine not being excited about what I'm building. That's crazy.
It's shocked me. My first trip to SHOT Show, me walking around having conversations with people that were high up, in some of the industries, and they're pointing me to other people. I pride myself. If you walk up to me in the booth, we'll talk about guns till I turn blue in the face, and you get bored and walk away. I mean, I love it. That's my culture, and I think that's what's appealing to a lot of our customers, is they have that direct access to me, and we can talk, and I can somewhat be relatively intelligent. Stephen may have to correct me every now and then.
I'll correct you on the relatively intelligent part.
But I mean, it was shocking to me that all these people don't shoot.
No, I can say that. I mean, from talking to multiple CEOs of other companies that just don't get it. They're not a part of that culture. They're not a part of the program. It's just, what can we do to make this product and have a certain portfolio? But then it's like, hey, if you made this, if you just tweaked this just a little bit, it's like, no, it's not in the budget, or it's not in our vision for this, so we're gonna go with that. It's like,
or someone might
let
think
the industry tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when it was a big deal when these like the bolt action rifle guys put an AR mag on the bottom of a bolt action rifle. That was like epic. And when FN came out with their tacticalized hunting rifle, that was like epic for those people, because it's like it's not in their culture. They're all concerned about what people are going to say about them, and it's like, someone
here knows about a little something about FN. I guarantee you that. I don't know who. It's, you know what? Listen, can I say something? I think that people are going to think this is crazy for me to say this, but there's kind of like a golden age that we're starting to enter for guns, for gun guys, for what can happen here. I know it's scary when we look at politics, and I agree with that. We need to pay attention to politics. There's a lot of people getting in the way of that. But it's kind of exciting to see some of the things that have happened and that could potentially happen with not just PSA. I don't think a lot of people realize, how big PSA is and the kind of things that you guys have going on. But just, there's certain parts of the industry that there's some really cool things come in here. From people who are really excited about guns, nerds about guns, and willing to fight for the Second Amendment. I really hope that we get there.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. There's some people are still stagnant. I think the young fire-breathing companies are going to push them out of the way. That'll happen. They're either going to have to get off the couch and move, or be, consumed by somebody like the Freedom Group or something. But I know from our standpoint, we're pushing every day for new products, new ideas. We've talked about doing M1s. We've talked about doing bolt guns. We've talked about, I want a bolt gun. I'd like to do a high-end bolt gun that's something relatively affordable. So, we're going to continue to push ahead and try to innovate as much as possible, or or at least try to get products out there that everybody could afford. Despite what's going on in Washington, you know, I'm very political, and I won't get on that soapbox right now. But I see this as a one and done type situation. We may end up with another Democrat, but it's not going to be the current administration because there's too much controversy and stuff going on with him. So it worries me, it concerns me, but you know, Jamie and I talk very often about the political climate. We're just going to work business as usual. We're being guarded a little bit, but we're looking down the road going, okay, if we can't sell ARs tomorrow, what can we sell? Pistols, bolt actions, lever actions, you know, what other things can we have on the back burner that we're still allowed to have, even if a, you know, tyrannical regime comes in and decides that we can't sell have guns.
Yeah. That you guys can manufacture and sell to people. Not that, you know, folks are going to be, everyone out there is going to be giving up their stuff, because I'm not giving up anything. You know, but that you can actually sell without dudes kicking in the doors.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, and there's constantly talking. Go ahead, Jen.
We need to be able to keep everybody's dogs safe from ATF agents if that trigger was ever be pulled.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, but there's always in the back of our, as a company, the back of the mind is, if it happens tomorrow, right, that you can't do this, there's a plan in place to be able to continue to make products that meet the requirements that they need to make. Or that they need to meet, and we're going to get it to the consumer, and it's just
You know why that's important?
That's
I think
what they want.
Yeah, here's why I think that's important. Some people are going to say, "Who cares? If I've got my guns, who gives a crap about other people?" I'm going to say this is the reason why. We've seen it in the last year. How many millions of new people came on board as gun owners? I'm not saying that they believe in the Second Amendment or the Constitution yet. That happens though. Right?
Yeah.
Once you become a gun owner, it's a gateway drug to freedom. So there's still more people out there that we can get, and even if they try to take these things, they're not going to get it from us. But we want the other folks out there who don't have anything yet to still get on board and say, "How the hell come why don't I have this or that?"
8 million new gun owners last year.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. You know, that's huge. And the ammo shortage that happened, you know, a lot of that is people starting to get into that. Well, let me exercise my freedom. You know, right now, look at the what was the Colt Python that they came back out with? They were trying to design a revolver that people could truly take to the range. Because I'll be honest with you right now, the one gun that I want more than anything else is a Colt Python that works.
Don't even show your Python, Patrick.
So
do it.
That's a good subject. So what does Colt do? Colt
real quick, let me finish.
Go ahead.
Yeah, a revolver doesn't revolve. No, so like they were trying to build a gun that people could take to the range, because what happens now? People buy guns and they go to the range and shoot way more ammo than they ever did before. You know, so they took 9 parts out of that gun, trying to make it more robust and more range friendly. And, you know, because that's the culture that's out there now. So now you're getting these new gun owners that are what's readily available now it's bigger now than it's ever been, the internet. So they're saying, what do I need to do? And there's all kind of instruction, some good, some not great, you know, and they're able to exercise that freedom. And then you have companies like Palmetto State Armory that do nothing but push. We're going to get you as much freedom as you can handle. And they believe that. So getting people out there to shoot, that's just a part. That's what this company's all about. Sorry, Walter. What were you trying to chime in with earlier?
I was just gonna beat up on Colt because they and they couldn't make they just effed it up. So
at some point PSA is going to start making revolvers.
Probably, I don't know.
I don't know about that.
If we're forced into it.
I see the revolver as, you know, the revolver's like, you know, we're gonna redesign the V8 and make it better. And why redesign the V8? It works. Just make it again and make it, you know.
Right.
They
We reintroduced the 1911s too. We've been making 1911s pretty hot and heavy the last month or so, mostly in the custom shop. They're a little bit more expensive, but man, they're phenomenal. They feel like a expensive high-end custom one-off build because they are.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best thing that happened to Colt was CZ. That'll be the best thing that happened to Colt.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Because
saying. I'm excited to see what some of the
You're going to get a culture in there that makes guns that work.
Yeah. So let me do this pitch. Look, we're at 9:00. If these guys will give me a couple more minutes here, we'll get this wrapped up. I want to make this pitch though. When are we going to see PSA make a bullpup?
Oh Jesus!
Make a what?
A bullpup.
A bullpup. He didn't. He's hilarious. Don't listen.
No.
Bull turd.
Oh,
I thought it was being funny at first. Like, a what?
Chad, you're
Say
just
that
gonna
one more
shoot.
time?
You're gonna straight shoot down bullpups altogether.
Huh?
Oh man, that hurts my heart.
Bullpup people are like HK people, right?
We'll make a bullpup in 10 millimeter.
I'm sure someone.
Yeah, it's called the high point.
Someone out there.
545.
Who was it? Someone was talking when you were talking about. There was that company that you were talking about, and someone was like, "Yeah, that company made 10 millimeter barrels for Glocks." I forgot the Lake. Storm Lake. Yeah.
Storm Lake. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll keep working on these guys. We might get bullpups here at some point. Obviously, not in the near future. This is the far future.
Priorities, Hank. Priorities.
Yeah. Oh boy. 42 Chilled says bullpups suck. No, they don't. They're awesome. Bullpups are awesome. Don't be like that. Bullpups are awesome.
I like 42 Chilled.
You don't have any bullpups at all.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
Steven, no bullpups?
No bullpups.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we got to end on a sad tragic.
I didn't say I wouldn't own one. I just said I don't own one.
Yeah, I'd like to see someone. Yes, LV Louis Cipher says I love bullpups. I like bullpups. I love my KSG. Boom, there you go. I mean, look.
KSG's pretty cool.
Yeah, Smith and Wesson got into the bullpup game the other day. Right? Wasn't that Smith & Wesson that came out with that 12-gauge bullpup?
The 12-gauge, oh, God.
Yeah. Lola says bullpup equals
Patrick, I
HK.
like you more and more.
That was an awful, terrible.
Well, at least it wasn't a bullpup revolver. They've moved on a little bit, I guess.
Listen, can I just say something? One of my biggest videos is about a bullpup revolver.
That never came to fruition.
It's gonna happen at some point.
That cry thing, whatever it is never happened.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's going to happen. Okay, we will see that come. Even if I've got to make one myself, I don't know. I don't have any kind of skills like that, but it will happen at some point. Okay, listen. We've gone through 2 hours here already. I don't know if anyone else has any questions about the Dagger. I think we covered a lot of Dagger stuff. Gabriel Dominguez says PSA Dagger and 22 LR. Actually, yeah, that would be cool.
A kit.
I think it would be good.
I don't think it's been ruled out, but I don't think it's anything on the immediate plate either.
Yeah, it will be cool to see that. That's not a bad idea.
Have you heard anything, Stephen?
Yeah, Steven?
Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Oh, you have.
Yep.
And my question was: is there a Glock 19 22 conversion on the market anymore?
I'm sorry, is there a
On the market,
Dagger?
or is there one in the
No,
works?
he's talking about a Glock
not for you
conversion.
guys, but I mean, is there currently one anywhere floating around in the world?
Yes, I do believe so.
Yeah, there is, for sure.
There's a couple different companies that make it. I'm drawing a blank on the one.
Somebody's already tried one on the group.
Steiner didn't do
advanced.
one, did he?
What was
One
that?
more time?
Somebody's already converted one.
Advantage
Dagger?
Arms.
Someone's converted a Dagger to 22, or?
Yeah.
They just
Somebody's
put
using
a.
conversion kit already on the groups.
Oh. Okay.
Advantage Arms looks to be the
Advantage
one that
Arms,
most
yeah.
people have.
Advantage.
Yeah, Advantage Arms, that was it.
Yeah, I mean, Taurus has got the TX22, which is a cool 22. Smith & Wesson makes one. Walther makes one. Glock has a 22 pistol.
Yeah, but that is not a
just made
19
one.
conversion. You're
Yeah.
not following me. It's not a 19 conversion.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Follow me, Hank.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Follow me.
Yes.
You sound like a reggae artist.
I have
Okay, I get. Okay, listen. This has actually been fun. We should do this more often. I don't know. I don't know. They might never come back on because they think we're gonna have a whole bullpup episode with PSA.
We'll find the right people for you to talk to.
to.
Oh, I'll convince you. I'll work on it, Chad. You said you're a gun guy. You like to talk about guns.
I do. I would own a Tavor. They're good guns. They're just heavy, and I'm an AR spoiled brat when it comes to the guns that I would pick up to go shoot.
If anyone could figure out how to make a bullpup lighter, man, I think, PSA, take up that challenge.
That'd have to go to Leadstar. We'd have it all skeletonized and purple and gold and all kinds of control.
Yes. I say yes.
I don't think it's a matter of making it lighter so much. It's just a lot of those guns are all plastic for the most part, so they're pretty light to begin with. They're all injection molded frames on those. And, it's
yeah.
Make the EM2. You got to make a copy of the EM2, the British EM2.
The British one, yeah.
I like the KSG. I like that KSG too. I mean, it's
KSG's
not bad.
a nice gun. Yeah.
KSG's nice. The RFB is decent. It's a decent.
You shot an
It's
FS
a little
2000.
FS2000. I have one.
Hank has
I
one.
I collect bullpups.
He doesn't shoot it. He won't bring it out.
It looks like a whale. I think I'm the only one that has shot.
Okay,
that
I think it's time to end the show. I think we're gonna move on now. Yeah, I have a bunch of bullpups in my collection.
So can I ask a question of the group?
Sure.
So Patrick, Walter, Hank, first impressions, your true first impressions whenever you shot the Dagger, whenever you grabbed it and whenever you shot it, what did you
That's what I
think?
wanted to mention to you. The Dagger's got an awesome grip, in my opinion. It fits in my hand really. I got a big old club, and it fits into my hand really well. Not that I would know that by but it fits really well. It feels natural. It doesn't feel like I'm having to to work at anything.
Yeah, so. I know you asked Patrick this. My first thought was, wow, this feels like it belongs in my hand. So that would be my thing. I don't know, Patrick.
I was impressed with the trigger. It's better. It's as good, if not better, than a Gen 3, and far better than any of the Gen 4s I've ever fired. So I was actually that was the first thing I looked at was trigger pull, and I liked it.
And I'm not a trigger aficionado, but I was impressed how easily it worked.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
one of the things that we're working on right now, you guys are going to hate me for saying this, but we're working on a bullpup, Glock bullpup right now. And
Oh gosh.
And I just have to say, like, what's exciting to me about the Dagger and you guys making the Dagger is the availability of parts. We've had guys from the 3D printing world here on the show, Control Pew. We've had Vin on the show, Vin and Gwen, some other folks out there that are doing this. And it's really exciting to think that you can get all these, like, because you guys are making these parts, it's becoming more available. Whether you realize it or not, a lot of Glock parts have become less and less available because of all the 3D printing and the places you could push this. Like, seriously, we're talking about bullpups, and it's kind of a little bit on the fringe, but this is the space where people can make all kinds of cool, different guns just for the fun of it. But what's happening is the parts availability is the tough thing. And to me, it's really super exciting to see that there's a company that's going to be making these parts on a regular basis. So it's not easy to do. So that's my big thing about it. I don't know if Patrick or Walter have anything else. I'm gonna wrap it up now here. I really do appreciate you coming in, Chad, as well as Steven from PSA. Yeah, I mean, this has been a fun conversation here. I'm gonna ask you guys. I'm gonna start with Steven and then go to Chad. If folks out there watching this and they want to ask more questions, where would they reach out to you, Steven, for example?
Honestly, the best way for people to reach me is going to be through Chad on that Facebook group. That's where all the questions get asked, and we see absolutely everything, and we will answer publicly, or we'll message anybody that has a question and get through that way.
Okay.
So the Palmetto State Armory Facebook group is absolutely the best place.
Absolutely. Okay, Chad, you're going to give us all your number so that we can call. No. Okay. How can?
I'm easy to reach. You can hit me on Facebook. We have or the main channel on Instagram or on Facebook. But most of the groups that we have dedicated to each one of our products, we've got the AKV group, we've got the AK group, we've got the AR group, the handgun group. So, Chad WYLIE, I'm active in all those groups. People message me, I redirect them to customer service and get things out. So, if anybody's got any questions or has any concerns or whatever feedback, just find me and reach me out.
Awesome. Babyface P, how can the folks out there get in touch with you?
YouTube.com/babyfaceP or on Instagram, baby_faceP. And while we were sitting here and had a lull in conversation, I actually finally reattached my Instagram to my Facebook, so Facebook won't be dead again. My Facebook for my BFP Facebook has been dead for the last 3 weeks to a month because the two got disconnected. Finally figured out how to reconnect it. I'm good, so you'll start seeing stuff there too.
Awesome, cool. Walter, how can the folks reach and harass you about bullpups if they want to?
Yes. Oh, yeah, I call about bullpups. I don't listen to them, but anyway.
Oh, okay.
I have a couple bullpups. I have a few bullpups.
Yeah.
Safety Hour Firearms, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Of course, there's stunparts.com, which is on the internet. And then Dirtfoot Racing for the mini bike stuff, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So.
Absolutely. Jerry Parker says it would be nice to see more retail stores in North Carolina. You guys are opening a bunch of retail stores. We need one in Florida. That's what I was going to say. Florida.
I wouldn't rule Florida out. We're starting to move. We're in Savannah. We're opening one up in North Carolina. So, as we find property, we open up stores.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Okay. Awesome. I'm looking forward to that invite to the Florida store. All right, listen.
Yes.
I want to. What's up?
No.
Yeah. I
agree.
Yes. So let me do this. I'm going to run in the end. We're going to come back. Someone's going to leave us with the words of wisdom. It's either going to be Chad or Steven. I don't know which one. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today and asking questions and hanging out with us and all that. We're not going to be on for the rest of the week like we usually would be. I'm getting on the road. I have a bunch of traveling to do, so I'm not really sure we're going to be able to come back. But we will be back. So we'll hit you guys up with that. I'm going to run in the end. Everyone stay there. Coming right back here. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us, hanging out with us here. We're going to rip the audio out of this, throw it up on iTunes and all your favorite places to get audio podcasts from. Big thanks to Chad and Steven from PSA for coming in. Who's got the words of wisdom? Who's got it?
I would say the CEO should have the words of wisdom.
Oh, he's pointing at you, Steven. He's pointing at you.
Let's hear it, Steven. I gave the last one.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
Yeah. What do you got? What do you got, Steven?
Yeah, something.
What you want? What kind of words of wisdom would you like?
What's your? Give us something that's your favorite, man. Something that always pulls you through things, or that you always think in your mind and you tell folks out there. That's what we're looking for. It doesn't have to be anything.
I got you. So one of the biggest things that I always find that helps me is don't argue with idiots or fools, because they will just bring you down to your level and beat you with experience. So that's one of the best things. That's one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got, and it'll help honestly in a lot of gun debates. Mm-hmm. And then another thing for me is just don't worry.
On me the other day?
Well, guys, I gotta go.
And, all right, listen. Thanks so much, guys. It's been fun. You guys stay there. We're out of here. We'll see you guys when we come back. Walter, did you want to say something before I hit the button?
No, I'm good. That was
all
awesome.
right.
Yes.
All right, we're out. Peace.